We are now talking to MLB analyst and statistician for the ace of Spaeder.com, Ryan Spaeder. Mr. Ryan, what's up, bud?
What's going on, fellas? Am I on mute now? I don't even know.
No, you're on. We hear you.
All right, good to go. What's happening?
We're good. As you can hear, I'm just disgusted with the New York Jets. I mean, being a Jet fan makes me want to throw up. And watching
You're
Trevor...
going to be upset with me, man, because I'm on the Jags. I'm on the Jags with the points. I'm
Good.
on the Jags with the points with Trevor Lawrence over 175 yards passing, already there.
Mm-hmm.
And now I just need a touchdown for the trifecta. I get a touchdown through the air. He obviously ran for one earlier. Doesn't do me any good. I need one through the air, and I'm hoping to get that right here on 3rd and 18. Probably not, though.
I bet you.
Gonna have to stay in the ball game though, the Jets, because otherwise they're just gonna shove the ball up the gut. Not gonna get it with that.
Oh, he's gonna get a first down here. He's been getting a first down on 3rd and 11.
Yeah, I think you know what. I think you're behind because, like you were saying on the last call, because I just saw the play and he did not get the first down.
Well, he gets the points. There you go. Anyways,
I don't want the points. I need a touchdown.
He needs his bets.
By the way, Ryan is on with us. Check out his annual Ball Player Ballot, where he polls MLB alumni on who would be in the Hall of Fame. So check it out. How do you find it, Ryan?
I just post it on my website, and then every single ballot I get, I post on the old Twitter machine,
Mm-hmm.
and every year I've done this. This is the 5th year I've done it. I've got ballots out to, I believe, 220 or so MLB alumni. Usually I get about a 50% return rate on those. Not everybody, gets around to it. I do have my usual suspects, guys who I can count on to participate every single year. And then a lot of times I get guys who are still on the ballot to participate. I don't allow them to vote for themselves, but then I don't penalize them. So, for example, Andrew Jones, Scott Rowland, Todd Helton, they'll all fill out ballots. They can't vote for themselves. So let's say I get 100 ballots. Because those guys can't vote for themselves, when I compare for results, I'll only go against 99 for those guys since they were unable to vote for themselves, so I don't hold it against them.
Huh. That's very interesting. That's a really cool concept, the way they did it. So you said 220 you've interviewed so far?
So what I do, I have a backdoor website on my website that I provide them the link and a password to, and then I do that. I have a Rolodex to throw it back into olden times of ball players' contact information, and I just mass email, blind copy all of them, send a mass email, and I'm like, hey guys, look, I'm sorry, I can't send you all a personal email. There's a shit ton of you on here, so
of course.
So here's the info you need, and get around to it whenever you can. I just got it out the other day. I was a little late because I was working on the Todd Helton piece, and I already got 14 in the first 2 days. Nice. I'll expect to get north of 100 total. Like I said, not everybody gets around to it every year. I do have guys who do get around to it every year. Some guys spend a lot of time on it. One guy comes to mind is John Baker. Every year he writes like 1,000-word essay about why he voted for who he voted for. He always does a really good job. He sticks out. Kurt Schilling, the always popular Kurt Schilling, always spends a lot of time on his. Explains every single one of his picks. A lot of different guys. I also get a bunch of Hall of Famers who will participate in this every single year too, which is pretty cool.
That's really cool.
As everybody knows, we are talking to MLB analyst and statistician of the ace of Spaeders.com, our friend Ryan Spaeder. This is the 3rd time Ryan's been on the show.
Yep.
Happy to have him on as we are watching this crappy New York Jets quarterback, play, and really nasty offensive line and defense. So let's get off football because I don't want to talk about it on this interview. But I want to get into, obviously, this offseason, and a lot of people are taking shots at an owner right now, Steve Cohen, a.k.a. Uncle Stevie, for spending as much money as he has the last 2.5 years, spending almost $1.3 billion on players. Obviously, everybody knows, or about the Carlos Correa signing, as the Giants decided not to give him, they decided not to sign him, hours before when they were going to introduce him as a Giant. Then, hours later, he's a New York Met. signs a 12-year, $15 million contract. What were your thoughts when you heard that the Mets just snagged him away from the Giants?
Honestly, my thoughts at first were, as a Phillies fan, I mean, I just hate the Mets. I hate them a lot. But as a baseball guy, I see one owner was quoted saying, "Our sport feels very broken right now. We've got somebody with 3 times the median payroll and has no care whatsoever for the long term of any of these contracts in terms of the risk associated with them. How exactly does this work? I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it." And I'm just like, dude, the rest of the league just needs to get their weight up. I hate the Mets, but this guy is doing what any number of these owners could do. I mean, we saw as recently as a couple of years ago, I think the A's had a payroll of $22 million. Yep. You've got to be kidding me, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. There should be a salary floor. Forget talking about salary cap. There should be a salary floor. Make it $100 million. Make it whatever million, $150 million, and let's make baseball more competitive. You're not going to make baseball more competitive by colluding like they did back in 1987 for owners not to sign guys and for other owners to be pissed that Steve Cohen's throwing his weight around. Sorry, that sucks. To me, somebody had commented on when I said, I hate the Mets, but the rest of the league needs to get their weight up. Somebody said the owners don't care about the Mets spending. It's just the media trying to get clicks. And I said to him, yeah, the media is always trying to get their clicks, but otherwise you're completely wrong. The way I view Steve Cohen as a baseball franchise owner is sort of like Donald Trump as a politician. I mean, he's breaking their unwritten rules. He's breaking their unspoken code, and he's introducing chaos. He's not welcome. He's not welcome because he's not playing by the rules, which is exactly why our former president wasn't welcomed by either side, Republican or Democrat. He just didn't want to play by the politician rules. He wanted to run the country like a business, and people didn't like him for that. And I'm not talking about constituents. I'm talking about fellow politicians. And that's kind of how I see Steve Cohen right now, is he has introduced chaos, something that baseball has never seen, somebody who's willing to throw their weight around. And I mean, they're going to have a payroll this year, including the tax, of over $500 million. Yep. And frankly, he doesn't give a shit. He wants to win, and he wants to bring a championship to that city, to what is it, Queens, right?
Queens,
he wants to bring Queens a championship, and more power to him. I hope that other teams are I hope it lights a fire under their ass. I hope the Phillies are shoot, they went out and got Trey Turner, but then they got to be okay, this isn't enough. We got to do something. We got to do something more. We probably should have gone after Rodon. We probably should have gone after Bassett. We probably should have gone after, I forget what's the kid's name from Japan that the Mets signed.
Senga.
The starter. Senga, thank you. What's going to be really interesting here is Bauer just had his suspension cut, probably rightfully so. Regardless of what you feel about the situation, it was proven that, he didn't do anything wrong. I mean, whatever people's fetishes and shit, I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum, right? It's weird stuff, in my opinion. It's, not up my alley, but it kind of was proven in a court of law that, he didn't do anything without consent, which, if that's the case, I mean, fine, whatever. It's weird in my opinion, but who am I to say, right? And here he's going to be welcomed back into baseball, according to the arbiter. The Dodgers aren't going to welcome him back. They're probably going to release him. They have until January 6th, ironically, to release him or add him back to the roster. Right. They're going to likely release him. And then you know what's going to happen? I would bet just about anything that Stevie Cohen is knocking on his door.
Oh, God.
To go ahead and sign him. And you know what's crazy about that is Cohen's not going to have to open up the checkbook to sign him. All it's going to take is a league minimum deal, because the Dodgers still have to pay him his salary this year. And his salary is $37.5 million this year that they're going to have to pay him not to pitch for their team and to pitch for another team and help that team into the postseason and then potentially into the World Series. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to end up on the Mets just as well.
Oh, yes. Trevor Bauer would already go along with the other pitchers, the flashy name pitchers for different reasons on the Mets team. And now Noah Syndergaard, the other big name, goes to the Dodgers ironically back. So wouldn't that be quite a swapping? So,
Noah Syndergaard sucks. I was so mad that the Phillies got him. I was enraged.
Don't worry, you don't have to deal with him anymore.
I knew that they were in deep crap when they got him because I just knew he was not. He wasn't Thor anymore, man. He lost his hammer, I guess, so to say.
All right,
I wanted them to move on Rodon, and they didn't do it.
He didn't lose his hammer with the models he's dating. That's about it.
Yeah, good for him.
All right, I want to ask you, speaking of the Phillies, because I know you actually texted me. We were trying to get you on the show during the playoffs. You actually texted me. You were actually at one of the World Series games. So what was that experience like?
It was awesome. So I think I've told you guys before, Lance McCullers, who pitches for the Astros, is a good friend of mine.
Yep.
I'm close with a bunch of the guys in the Astros because, I stuck up for them. I was one of the only ones willing to stick up for them during the whole cheating scandal. And, when you go to bat for guys, they tend to gravitate towards you. Now, McCullers and I have been boys since he was in the minors, so it was long before any of that stuff happened. And he's introduced me to a couple guys. A couple times I've gone out on the road and met them for a game in Baltimore and had some drinks with these guys afterwards and stuff. So McCullers always is willing to hook me up with tickets and stuff, and I kind of hate it because he never lets me pay for them. Because when it comes to regular season games, players get tickets, but postseason games, they actually have to pay for the tickets. So what I always end up doing is donating to his Lance McCullers Jr. Foundation, which is benefiting dogs in need of homes, so that they are not put to sleep. I hate that term because not murdered, really. And he invited me down for one of the games. I had to make it because the last time he invited me down was when they were in the World Series in 2017, because he didn't pitch when they played the Nationals, although I went to one of the games in Washington as well because he was hurt. But in 2017, he invited me down, and I was still in the Marine Corps, and I was transitioning from one base to another. I tried to catch a flight. The flight ended up getting canceled. I missed the flight, and then 2 World Series tickets went to waste when just sitting there in the box office waiting for me to pick them up, and obviously I never made it. So I had to do whatever I had to do to get down there this time, especially with them playing the Phillies. And so I made it down there, and I couldn't tell you, man, I had the greatest experience. Those people down there are so great, so nice. The city was, at least where I was so clean. The food was delicious. Everybody was just awesome. It was a way different experience than like going to a game or even a World Series game in Philadelphia, in DC.
When they eat crap, is that what you're talking about? When they eat dog crap or whatever, horse crap after they won the Super Bowl? That was disgusting, by the way. I don't know if anybody checked that out. And I actually root for the Eagles if it's not the Jets. Like, my Jets aren't making the playoffs now, so I'm going to be rooting for the Eagles. I want to see them win. But the fans are out of control.
And you were pretty passionately rooting for the Phillies, too.
Yes, I was. Yes, I actually picked the Phillies to win the World Series, actually.
Yeah, you know what that cost me, right? I'm sure you saw on Twitter.
No, I actually didn't see it.
I had a $1,776 bet for the Phillies to win the World Series at 35-1.
Oh, really?
If they won, I would have won $62,696.12.
Ooh.
I was offered at one point a $32,000 and change buyout, which I rejected, obviously, and I wrote it into the ground and lost. So
there's a common betting thing that anyone tweets on sports will say, just don't bet on your own team. You get too emotional.